Hi, I'm Kathy from Eclectic Images, and today I'm in my happy place. I'm going to be playing with Miranda, our close-up face of Miranda, which is one of my favourite stamps to play with, and I'm going to be dressing her up in some jewellery. So this is just bliss for me to be able to play with this. A lot of you may have seen me doing the ladies at the shows, but I realised that we didn't have a YouTube video showing how to use some of the jewellery. So let's have a look at our stamps for today. We've got Miranda, so our close-up version of Miranda, plus the jewellery set. Now there is also other bits that you can use. We have the accessory set as well, and we'll cover that in a separate video. But there is a couple of little beads in there that could be used as jewellery. We also, in the Sun Mandala, you can see there's a little dropper there that's designed to be added to the mandala, but it also makes a brilliant little earring or a necklace dropper. So that's another piece that can be used for jewellery. The other one is the Dreamcatcher mandala. Both the gems hanging off there, also these big large faceted gems make great jewellery pieces. But today I'm just going to work with our actual jewellery set. Our ink pad's going to be Versafine Clair in Nocturne. This is a wonderful stamp for our basic outline of our lady because it gives lovely dark eyes, eyelashes, eyebrows, etc. Then for colouring our lady, we've got our Versamagic chalk inks. I've got Malted Mauve, Sahara Sand and Jumbo Java. I'll also be adding some extra colour with a couple of brush markers. I've got turquoise and purple. We'll add a bit of glitter in and some glossy accents. So I've got Seaglass and the glossy accents. I've got a couple of liquid pearl colours standing by, hydrangea or violet. Just haven't fully decided which of those colours I'm going to use. We'll see how the card develops. So to begin with, I've got Miranda loaded in my stamp press, and we'll ink her up with the Versafine Clair. I do like to do the ladies in the stamp press because, as I said, I like the eyes and the eyebrows and stuff to be nice and dark, and this way I can re-stamp it if I'm not 100% happy. And see, that eye's great, but that one could be a little bit darker. So let's do another inking. And just get that perfect. Push down. And I can always do a third inking if I'm still not happy, but that is perfect. So we can lift that out of there. And we'll clean that up later. Now the best way to colour Miranda is with, I find the best inks to use are the Versamagic chalk inks, mainly because to do a basic foundation layer on her, they will dry waterproof. So they give a lovely soft finish, but because they dry waterproof, if we're then doing any other watercolouring over the top, inks aren't going to mix in together. Now let's just give it a quick run over with the heat gun, just to make sure it's nice and dry. Curl my card back the other way. Okay, now the other thing that's the other secret to working with these stamps is to make yourself a couple of masks. It makes it so much easier to colour her in if you're not worrying about going over edges. And I've also got one here that I've got of her hair, which will make that a lot quicker as well. You don't have to do the hair one, but it does make things a little bit quicker. So let's get our base colouring on. The only thing I've got to be careful is I don't want to go right down to that lower edge. I don't want to get a harsh line. So I'll pick up Sahara Sand, which is a lovely foundation colour. Mind you, there's you can go from wheat, which is a very porcelain look, Sahara Sand is a slightly more tanned look, right through to Jumbo Java if you want a deeper look for your skin tones. So you can really make your ladies look like however you want them to look. Shading in, just make sure that my mask, I can just see the outline, the edge there. So as I get down near that neck area, I'll stop. I'll try not to go over the eyes because I don't want her eyes to lose, the whites of her eyes to lose being white. And if I need to, I could do just a little bit of colouring there, but without the mask in place, so no harsh outline. So as you can see, that gives us, it often looks like you're not putting much colour on, but it's enough, and it gives us that lovely foundation. Now we're going to add a little bit of colour, a bit of blush and a bit of eye colour, and we'll do that with the Malted Mauve. Malted Mauve, Sierra Vista and Pink Petunia, I find are the three colours that work the nicest for this. This is where I really do rely on having the mask. This side is fine where you've got the hair, but it's very hard to do the blush and the eye colour without going outside your line if you don't have the mask there. And as you can see from this mask, it has been used a lot. So you don't have to cut it, I mean all the fuss you go to cut it out, you don't have to do that very often. Now the brush I'm going to use for this is a little bit small. This is a Future round brush, but it's a size 8, whereas using the size 10 for the foundation. So switching to the 8, which gives me a little bit more control over where it goes. And we're just going to dust, working from the mask in. And you find you actually don't need to use a lot. Here I can go over her ear, or I can start very gently just on the cheek and then add a bit more pressure as I've got the brush moving. I'll put a little bit more on that side. So again, it doesn't look like you're doing much, but you are. Now to do her eyeshadow, I'm going to move my card around a little bit on an angle this way because I find that easier to work with the brush. Now if you press these brushes down, you can get at the point where you press it down, you'll get a sharp edge. How can I show you? You get a sharp edge there, but a softer edge back here. So the brush actually does the blending for you. Just pop the mask back in position. So pop it on, press it down, and then I'm just wiggling sort of back and forwards that way. And on the other side, I haven't got the mask to help me here, so I'll just press it down near the eyelashes there. And you can see I've picked up a lot more ink that time. So I'll just keep working it a bit until I soften it out. And then I'm going to have to put some stronger in this side to match to it. I did say she was going to be a little bit gothic, didn't I? So she can have a little bit of extra colour. Whoa, look at that. Woohoo! Now we can add some more, give her smoky eyes with the Jumbo Java, which is also what I'm going to use for her hair. So with Jumbo Java, and this time to do smoky eyes, I switched to the number 2 brush. So again, it's one of the Future brushes, but it's very, very fine. Just ink the very end of the brush, starting off in the eyelashes. And just a bit of a wiggle back and forward till you know how much colour you've got. Now I can shoot that forward there, but I'm also going to add some underneath her eyes. So ink the very end of the brush, pop it on. I'm just going really lightly to start with, not putting much pressure on the brush at all. And then once I've got it started, I can do a bit of back and forward and build that colour up to give that lovely smoky eye look. How cool is that? Oh goodness. Okay, if you're not sure how much ink you've got on your ink pad, touch it off on your scrap pad just to take some of the intensity off before you start on your card. And that's probably enough for that side. Okay, now let's do while we've got the Jumbo Java out, we'll do her hair. So this can be done for her hair. You can just do it directly on the card and just do that trick of pushing the brush down on its side when you want to get near the edges. But it is a little bit quicker and easier if you use the mask. But I'm going to not use it right close to her hairline because I don't want that solid edge there. So I'll use this to get some quick colour on. I'll on this part of her hair. I'm getting quite close to her ear there, which is handy. And again, I'll stop before I get to the very ends there because I don't want that harsh edge from where I've cut the mask to actually show. So lift that out. Now I can just come in with the brush and just shade it a bit closer to her face without getting a hard edge. Shading in the edge there and also finishing off down the neck here and down to the ends of the hair with it nice and soft. Okay, so there's our base layers. And as I said, that's the Versamagic chalk ink. That's not going to move or bleed as we add other colours over the top. Let's again give it a little dry with our heat gun just to make sure it's nice and dry. It doesn't need to be heat set. We just want to make sure, because we're not going to, I could put her aside to dry for a few minutes, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just keep going. So the little bit of a dry does help. Now let's give her some lips and eyes. With the lips, I've got my water brush standing by here as well. So with the lips, I'm going to colour with my brush, my Pentel brush marker, up to the edge of her lips. So you may need to move your card around several times so that you can get that tip of the brush. You do not want to be trying to colour the edge of her lips from here because you will smear colour outside of the lips. So just move the card around and keep that brush right up against your edge. Now the other thing that I like to do is to get my water brush and just dissolve that edge of the brush marker, and that gives her a little bit of highlight on her lip. But do not take the water anywhere near the edge there, or it is very likely to bleed outside the lip line, and we do not want that. So we don't want to add a lot of water, and we don't want to go near the edge of it. Let's pop some top lip in. And do a little bit of dissolving just on the edge of the colour, nowhere near the edge of the lips. And it just gives that more three-dimensional quality to the lips. But you've got to do it carefully or it ends up bleeding on you. And trust me, both Jackie and I, when we've been working with the ladies, both of us have had lips where we've gone, oh dear, and it's bled in all directions. So it's very easy to happen. So I'm using turquoise here on her eyes. Now for the jewellery, I'm going to stamp it in the Nocturne as well, so I get nice crisp outlines for it. Now and I'm using the more gothic looking necklace. So you've got a matching earring and necklace in 4 different styles. So a very geometric one, your lovely romantic heart one, a more basic choker, and then the gothic one, or Victorian, it could be either. Now these bits of jewellery have been designed to go with Ashley and Miranda. Greta actually faces the other way, so where these are sort of angled a bit to go with the way the ladies' necks go, it doesn't work quite as well on Greta. But this one in particular can still be used on Greta. You've just got to angle it slightly differently, and because her neck's thicker, you'll end up just putting some extra liquid pearls at the edge to make it work. So you can use it on Greta, but it hasn't been specifically designed for her. It's been designed for the other two and the way that they face. Sorry, Greta. But as I said, there's other things that you can use for jewellery, like some of those other faceted gems and things. So that's wonderful that we do have something that we can use on her. So what I want to do with this is I want to line it up with the sides of her neck. So I move it up and down until I see about where her neck is. But I tell you what, if you're not exact, you use a little bit of glitter or liquid pearls to cover the edges up. Or if I actually wanted to do it higher, I could use a mask like this mask and put it on there and stamp it higher, and the edges would just disappear off onto the mask. So you can make it work anyway. Now let's get the little earring. Ink this up as well. Oh, now I've got a little bit of ink on the edge of my block there, which I don't want to accidentally get on my card, so I'll just clean it off. So this, I'm going to line the dot of the earring up with, there's actually a dot on her ear. But I'm also trying to make sure that I've got it running fairly vertical with the card. And it's going to disappear into her hair a little bit, but that's okay because once we've added colour in, that'll bring that, and some pearls and stuff, that'll all come back beautifully. The other thing I'm just going to do with this one is the little faceted gem that is actually in the jewellery set, this little one here. We're going to give her a bit of an extra dropper to her earring. And it will match with the gem that's on her necklace. So let's just again try and make sure we're pretty vertical and add that in there as well. You know, she can be really over the top with her jewellery if she wants to be. It's all good. Now, a bit of turquoise, bit of purple. Let's colour the gems in with the turquoise. So when you're doing a faceted gem, you actually don't want the whole lot to be coloured. So I usually add a few bits of colour and then come in with my water brush and just soften it out a little bit so you get some bits with a lot of colour and some just with a little bit. If you want to check out how to colour faceted gems really well, check out tattoo pages. Oh my goodness, tattoo artists do gems so well. So that, on the bit that's in the middle, I'm going to add a bit of colour top and bottom to it and then just drag it up a little bit, drag it down a little bit, but still leave it fairly highlighted in the middle, and we start to get that look, a more three-dimensional look to the gem. So let's do the same on her earring. So we're going to do some little bits of colour around the edge of it. Come in with our water brush and spread it, but don't try and cover the whole area. Leave some light and dark patches. Now we put some in the base. We can drag that up a little bit. And a little bit at the top. Actually, that's blending up so beautifully that I just want a touch there. I don't want too much. Just let them meet in the middle. And you'll notice I just spin my card around so that I'm always working at what's a comfortable angle for me with the brushes. Okay, very pretty. Now what else do we want to do with a bit of turquoise? Maybe some of our other droppers. And this is where, as I said, in my happy place, this is where you just play. There's no right or wrong. It is just what you are having fun with doing. And I'm picturing some bits that are going to have pearls on, so I know bits that I don't need to colour. I've got a bit of a line there, so I'm just going to push back into it. Okay, let's bring our purple colour in. And I'm still not sure whether I'm going to go with violet or hydrangea as our pearls. Still haven't decided. Okay, we might, on the earring, do the top bit. Purple, and maybe just a little bit of the mesh. I'll just shade it in. Okay, so to echo that in the necklace, I'm going to do these lines in the purple, which is like a filigree part of the necklace. Oh, there's just so much variety of what you can do. My dilemma with the liquid pearls is that this is a purple, but it's quite a pinky purple. So to match to the earring, just popping a little bit around the edge of the mesh there. And then we're just going to just let that bleed into the necklace a bit. I'm not even covering the whole lot with water because I don't want to mess with the filigree line that I did. And I don't want to put on so much water that it bleeds outside the necklace. So I was really just very lightly touching it with the brush. So this is just building up a little bit of base colour that will then add our glitter and pearls over the top, which is what's really going to finish it off. Okay, and I still don't know what colour I'm going to use. Let's add some glitter first while I'm still making up my mind. So I've got Seaglass. Give it a bit of squeeze, make sure it's working, and it is. And Seaglass, we're going to add in some little parts of the chain here. Oh, it's a bit cold here today. Our glitter is a little bit thick. Nice colour though, isn't it? I don't want to get it on too heavy, but it's actually quite thick. Let's just add some bits on those little droppers, and maybe a bit on that one as well. Okay, all right, crunch time. Violet or hydrangea, and I've got them actually warming up in my pocket because, as I said, it is a bit of a cold morning here. So as we can see, I was worried about doing her in too much pink, but that purple has got pinky tones to it. So let's go with the hydrangea. Just give it a squeeze, make sure it's coming out for me. Okay. So this is now going to do our bigger beads. Still a bit cold. I'm having to put a fair bit of push into it to get it happening. As you can probably tell, it's making me shake a little bit. So a line of pearls, how gorgeous does that make the necklace look? And then we'll do some around the edge of the earring as well. Just making sure I don't run into the glitter. And I think the earring needs a little bit in the middle as well. Okay. Nearly there. How pretty is it? Now, as a card, I would probably finish it off with some shading or some swirls around the edge, but here today, mainly what I want to show you is how the jewellery works, and some, of course, basic colouring of the ladies. Just check that my Glossy Accents is running nicely, and we're going to pop that over her lips. Try and get that bubble out of it. And over her eyes. Before that fully dries, I'll come in with a pokey tool and just get that little bubble off her lips. But that's basically our card. So once that Glossy Accents, it goes on a bit creamy, but once it dries, that'll just give that beautiful 3D glaze look to her eyes and lips that just lifts them out. Would actually look really good. Have I still got a moment, Matthew? Would actually look good putting a bit on these faceted gems as well. There we go. Oh my goodness, she looks so pretty. I'm just going to bring it forward onto the black so you can get a vision of just Miranda. And how lovely is that, just to be able to play with them and just add the jewellery. So I hope you enjoyed letting me play, because that's what I've been doing. As I said, I love to do different looks with our ladies, but by having our jewellery and our accessories, it just makes it so easy to create with them. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel so you get notifications of when I load up new clips, and we'll hopefully see you back next time. Thank you.